welcome everybody to our awesome summer series. We're getting close to the end. Kids are starting to go back to school. We have Jared from Alive Innovations here with me today, and then we'll have a really exciting friend on August 21st. So put it in your calendars. Don't forget. As always, for all of you awesome people that have registered, we will send a replay, and you can re-listen, rewatch at your leisure. Before we hop in with Jared, which I'm super excited that these folks are here. I mean, honestly, Alive has so many products and innovations and fun stuff that we could do just a series, Jared, really with just you guys. I mean, the options are a little endless, although we're gonna drill it down a bit today, but they're really worth taking a dive in, taking a look at even after this webinar. I first want to remind everybody though that DiversifyRx, we are fans of independent pharmacy. Our mission is to save you, the independent pharmacist, and really make badass pharmacy CEOs. How we do that in our membership is through our awesome matrix. We want you to be an expert in cash flow, financials, marketing, compliance, so on and so forth. Pharmacy is so much more complicated than it was even just a few years ago, and you really need to wear those multiple hats and wear them with confidence. And we're here to teach you, to guide you, to coach you, and give you that confidence to be able to wear those hats fantastically. We have our 4-step matrix is the step 1. You're going to reserve, you're going to fix poor cash flow, get your low profits up. 2, you're going to build, you're going to have a strong foundation. You're going to, employees are going to be happy. You're going to be able to give an employee bonus program, which makes employees happy. Step 3, we're going to start to scale. You're really going to take those foundations and start to grow up on a strong base, so we're not falling back in. And then 4th, which really where Jared and Alive falls into, although they could really be in step 3, but step 4 is really where you're going to grasp their power and take it to the moon. And that's diversifying. This is revenue tactics that you can use, revenue tactics, programs, strategies that you can use to put in your pharmacy that is going to give you cash money, moolah, give you money to execute, to be solvent, to make pharmacy fun again. So that is our matrix. I just wanted you all to know where Jared and Alive falls on the matrix before we hop in. So I will stop sharing. For those of you that don't know, if you see me start to rock again or my screen starts shaking, no worries. We're just having some aftershocks here from a pretty fun earthquake last night. No worries. My face might change a little, but I'm not going to run away.
As long as you're not doing this.
Yeah. Okay, so Jared is our new friend from Alive Innovations. I've been chatting with them for maybe four weeks now. Our really good friend Priscilla brought this whole company to my attention. I don't even think you guys were on our radar, quite honestly, until Priscilla really, burned down the door to get us in, and I'm so glad she did. So Jared, tell me a little bit about you, and we can begin. And feel free, Jared, to share your screen whenever you need to.
Sure. I'll share it after.
All of our awesome attendees, feel free to hop in the webinar chat, and we will ask and answer questions during the webinar. So this is a conversation. So feel free to hop in there.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate Lisa, you and your team and DiversifyRx to invite us here. First of all, just to plug to you, I have been a part of nonprofits and other structures, and putting on these programs is not the easiest thing. And then also, given the current economic climate that we typically see with a lot of our distributors getting involved in, you really need to be on the cutting edge of those things to make it. So kudos to you for what you do. I've been, like I said, been involved with those. I've been in the industry for about a little over 30 years, believe it or not. I started out very young. My uncle was a doctor, and he kind of blazed the trail and encouraged me to kind of learn more about computers, health, and my family was involved in manufacturing and things like that. So I've had a blessed experience to run quite a few different types of companies, and then also a lot of experience. My formal training is in business and computer sciences and programming and things of that nature. But the body always fascinated me. So I worked with my uncle out of Atlanta here. We had a full medical center and a distribution company similar to how Alive Innovations is set up. And that was done because we could develop products as we saw that they worked. If something didn't work, the last thing you want to do is push it out and not work. So we had a full-blown medical center with MDs, DCs, NDs, nurse practitioners, and everything as part of that. And we realized that held a secret sauce to figuring out solutions that people needed. And then from a business side of it, as in distribution, I was always trying to figure out, if I owned a business, what would I want to see? So later on, years later, after I finished training with my uncle, and he eventually had passed away a number of years ago, but I decided to start my own business. So Live Innovation's been around for about 10 years or so. And we've been featured a few times in wellness magazines, science magazines, and so forth for some of our discoveries. And fortunately, I can't claim it as my knowledge. What I'm imparting to you today and the rest of your staff are things that I've learned on my journey. And the cool thing about when you're in this industry is you find people of like mind, and that's who I've rubbed shoulders with from here to Australia to Spain, working with doctors around the world to figure out solutions to not only medical problems more holistically, but also looking at business. How do we survive these downturns? I've been through the downturn back in the 70s and the 80s again. And that was not fun. And I know how difficult it is. So my goal here today is just to impart what I have learned through my travels, and maybe share some ideas with some of your people to kind of help them in their journey.
Sure. That sounds fantastic. We love new things, but sometimes I think the better thing than the new thing is, one, it's tested and true, but number two, that it's just a new take on something that people can already understand. So I love that about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. We have part of our main distribution company is Alive Innovations. That's our parent company. And then we have subsidiary brands and companies that we own and participate in as well, including from manufacturing. So we're vertically integrated, which makes us a little bit more unique than some. So a little bit about the company. We not only manufacture our own nutraceuticals, but we actually have medical grade labs that can actually do injectables and other things of that nature. Now, those aren't currently available here in the US, but if you and your network have some compounders that are willing to work with us, we are definitely willing to work with that to get this into the US market. We saw amazing results when we did this previously, based out of Atlanta here. We had literally clients from around the world flying in because we had such amazing results. And so we carried that forward with some new concepts, new ideas, new formulations today for Live Innovations. We have a part of our existing team. I'm a certified health coach as well as we have our Dr. Rahman is one of our principals and partners, and he's a ND, MD, multiple PhDs, nurse practitioner, other MDs as well. they're all part of this collective that we use to kind of, spar off. One of the biggest problems I saw in this, and that your company fills an important niche, is someone to talk to. Because oftentimes when you're dealing with medical, doctor is like an island, and they're all out by themselves trying to figure something out. They have a customer coming in, they've been to 6 other doctors. How do we solve a problem? And I'm going to share a couple of true life experiences that kind of show that,
Sure.
bring that to light. But that's
Yep.
kind of how we came together.
Yep.
Excuse me,
Yep.
together as a bridge builder.
Yep. We love the nitty gritty. That's
Yeah,
why. That's why I did this webinar series was
yeah, it's
to
awesome.
cut
It's
through
awesome.
the fluff and get
Yeah,
to the. Okay, Jared. So Heather's Pharmacy would like to start with your program. What happens now? What happens? What should I first be starting out with? What is your fancier stuff? Tell me exactly how I'm going to hop into the water with you.
yeah, great. Let's do that. I'm going to show that to you right now. So let me just get my screens arranged here so I can see y'all. So I'm just going to share this. We just created a little video that's going to kind of walk us through the steps. So first of all, to give you a little bit of background about Alive Innovations, I'm going to pause this during different features so you can kind of understand this. But not only do we develop high-end nutraceuticals that you see here, and we're going to explain that in a second, we also work and distribute and develop high-end devices used for holistic treatment. Now, the current device you're looking at here is called the Theta Chamber, and this is currently undergoing some FDA registration. All of the internal components of this device are already cleared, FDA cleared. The uniqueness with this is done, and I'm going to explain more about it later on. This is all put together in one simple device that can be put into a 10 by 10, 12 by 12 room or so for therapeutic reasons. This device, which I'll explain more, focuses heavily on mental health and also healing, entrainment, and we'll go over those things in a little bit later. But first of all, what I want to spend a little bit more time on first is, the biggest thing that people want to know is, everybody's got supplements out there. So when I went into this business, one of the things, and feel free to interrupt me if you have a question, but when I went into this business, one of the things that bothered me is when I buy a capsule, there might be 28 milligrams. Literally, this happened to me. It was a great product, but it was 28 milligrams of active component. The rest, all 650 milligrams of the balance was cellulose or rice flour. And that bothered me. I'm like, well, I'm taking this, I want it to be the most effective that it could. So what we did is we went back to the drawing board, and we don't put fillers in our products. They're all 100%. We fill the capsule 100% with everything that you see here. In addition to the products that we have, like you see here, we have micro blends, which are designed, and this is where some of our injectables can come from as well. This is designed to support the mental health. This is a new product. And in our medical facility, we came across a few individuals that had mental challenges, some being Parkinson's, some being glioblastoma, which is, obviously traumatic. So my background is in development of products. I've worked with the University of Indiana's team as we discovered the CT defense that you see on the screen there. And the CT defense, in conjunction with the Brain Pro, both help support Brain Pro helps support the brain's immune system in a very unique way because it's delivered through a nasal spray. But the CT defense also goes a step further. And when people in the medical community, we see a lot of people that look at you've got cancer. Okay. They look at that as the problem. We look at it and we teach our doctors, because we distribute only to professionals like your health food stores or RX drug companies or so forth. But that is a symptom. So how do you fix the symptom is you look at what's causing the symptom. And what we found in this research with the university is that it was a specific protein. Again, this could be a whole lesson unto itself. Sure. But the CT events, by and large, arrest that protein, and cancer goes away as a byproduct. So we don't kill cancer. We don't deal with that. All we do is we arrest the protein. Then you have other formulations like our Mag7. As you can see, there was 7 different forms of high absorbable magnesium. Then you have our VMAX. How many people have you walked in and they want a natural product that can deliver results as quickly as drugs can, because drugs do a good job. If you need to if you have a heart issue or something like that, you want something that that impacts the body real quick. So the VMAX is something that in 30 minutes will change the body's circulatory system, improving it in just 30 minutes. But as a side effect, it also improves brain performance by 20% in 30 minutes. It also improves circulation by increasing PC, phosphatidylcholine, in the body to help get rid of the calcium or the plaquing. So you have a lot of older ones that come into your store. All of those things are things that we see routinely. When we develop these products, they are developed for specific purposes. Some things, I'll give you an example that most people don't know, is like if you look at GI products, most people have GI products sitting on the shelf. I didn't know this until I went into research. Why do we see so many people with candida and they don't, and the gut issue is so important to overall health? Why aren't they getting better? What's happening? So what we did is we went back to the drawing board. We realized that the GI product we had wasn't working. Why wasn't it working? It was because the spore we were using, which 98% of all probiotics in the marketplace use the same spore or the same family of spores, is yeast-borne spore. So what we did is we went back and found a plant-based spore. So it's a non-yeast spore, and immediately all the yeast issues were absolved, and people felt better. I had one client literally had seen multiple doctors in Florida, couldn't get any results. I did a remote test with, I'll explain in a moment, on her, and literally in 24, actually a little longer than that, about 36, 48 hours, she called me back and left a message at her office crying. And we thought, oh my God, we got something going on here. She's thanked us so much because she's never felt this way in her entire life. Skin issues cleared up. Yeah.
I love that. Angela is saying, is this tied to the theory of parasites causing certain cancers?
Well, yeah, you are exactly right. This isn't exactly, but we have other products that do dovetail into that. This is tied specifically, the CT defense is tied with the principle of a protein called the Enox-2 protein. And what we're trying to do is, the problem is that that protein has a protective coating on it. What the CT defense does is it helps dissolve that protective coating so that all of a sudden the receptor sites are vulnerable to binding to and the immune system to identify it. Once the immune system says, hey, there's too much Enox-2 here, we got to get rid of it. That's all it does. It actually just helps to dissolve that cloaking mechanism. There's a specific mushroom blend in it that helps boost the body's ability. You probably heard of beta glucans and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The specific combination, we tweaked it since we first developed it about 20 years ago. It actually was amazing, but the science has changed since then even. And so we've seen amazing impact. Matter of fact, scientifically, according to University of Indiana, any initial contact you have with cancer, early detection, is the premier. But see, cancers are motivated, again, I don't want to get too off tangent, but they can be hormone driven, they can be toxicity driven, they can be driven by sugars. And so what we have different products that identify those. But what they do all have in common is they have this protein that starts to get out of control. And that's what we work to resolve. Additionally, when you we have quick dissolve tablets for those clients that come in that can't swallow tablets as well. So we have a whole line of quick dissolve tablets that bypass the gut. So it helps out with absorbability and so forth like that. Did you have a thought?
Yeah, well, I just think, so I train a lot on the use of social media and how to market inside of brick and mortars.
Yeah.
And what I'm finding and what I found is that consumers are becoming smarter. I mean, social media is either a really good tool or a really bad tool for sharing information, and we can all get behind that thought. But the good part of it is that people are becoming much more aware of their own health, of
Absolutely.
things like fillers in supplements and vitamins.
Yep.
I see people all the time now use no fillers, or more pure, I guess,
Yep.
is what I can say, for products like these. And it's really a selling point to get folks into your pharmacy and onto other programs. But I think that people in general, Heather Harrow, the layman, I am not a pharmacist. My role at Diversify is marketing, and I'm an expert at marketing and team and things like that. I'm not a pharmacist. Heather Harrow, the layman at this, has learned so much from learning in these ways. And I'm now seeking these products that don't have fillers in them, that have the right probiotics and not probiotics, and things like that. So I think that on top of this being really good for patients and for patients and patients' health, and leveling the pharmacy up as the expert in their community, it's a great way to get people through the door. And that's why I really love it. I'm going to have to order some stuff, especially the I saw this the other day, but I have forgotten about it, is the magnesium. So I take lots of magnesium. I have terrible migraines all the time that sometimes cause even seizures. So me and my what's the movie where the old man sprays Windex on everything? My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I'm like that with magnesium. Like, if your muscles,
you got to get it. Well, what you may want to think about, and we're going to show you a solution to that in a second, but the Brain Pro is a new product. We just released it. We just had our nurse, she's suffered from migraines as well. She used it one time when she got in the morning. She said the migraine hasn't come back. It was gone within minutes after she
That's
gave it.
fantastic. So I'll have to order some products, Jared, and do some reviews on them.
One of the points,
Angela would like to know which fungi.
Which fungi? For what?
Angela, I think I probably went past your question.
There's if you're wondering about the mushroom blend, it's all listed in the catalog, so you can find it out there. And then if you're wondering about, we do have a product designed for fungus, because in Florida we deal with a lot of mental issues that we're dealing with. And we specialize in identifying these molds and funguses that are causing these issues, and have a microblend to help detox against those fungus as well. So
she's in Florida. So she says she's in Florida. She was curious about the mushroom blend. Angela, we will put all of the resources in our replay email, and a way that you can speak directly to Jared. But she knew exactly what
He's on top. So just so everybody online that knows, is we have our doctors also write white papers on all of our products. So you can look at the research that's tied in with the product, why it was created, the principles of why it works the way it does. But the point I was getting back at is all of the products are designed with a goal in mind, that the client can feel a difference very quickly. So if you have a person, I'm just going to give an example. This happened to me. I had 9 cases come in, referred to me by a cardiac doctor, that all were in arrhythmia or AFib, and they were actually all scheduled to go in for ablation. So obviously that's semi-serious. So they need to get that taken care of. Well, I said, through analysis, one thing that they may know as well as I was taught, is their bottom number was actually very high in their blood pressure. So that's an indication that the kidneys are stressed. So what we did is we have a product called KDNY. We gave that KDNY with the VMAX that you saw earlier on the screen, and literally in under 100% of all 9 of them did not have to have the ablations done. Most of them cleared it after about 2 to 3 days. They no longer had the arrhythmia. And when one of them went in for the ablation, she said, well, I'm going to have it done anyway. The doctors even gave her the drugs to cause it, that she had been having now for months, and they couldn't even cause it. And he says, you're
Wow.
fine. So just to show how fast that those work. But
That's fantastic.
um, moving on to the one of the key things here that we can offer is my background is in programming. So many here might be familiar with biofeedback or bioresonant technology. So those are the things that my teams and I help to develop. One of the things that we're just now rolling out is a new product using radionics. It's called our Rapid Scan. And what this does, we do have an in-depth scan that goes even more in depth than this, similar principles, but this specific scan just uses a 30 to 35-second voice note of someone, and we put it into the system. It crunches some algorithms to figure out what is the individual's lacking, what nutrients are probably imbalanced in the body, and then what do we need to do to fix this? And it gives us some scenarios. It's a rather complex piece of software, but the cool thing with this is it allows us to get to the root causes faster. So like the practitioner mentioned about the parasitic issues. Prime example, just a 1-minute version, is I was invited to a hospital in Florida to see a doctor, and he was the hospital administrator. I came in, and he stopped me at the door and he says, "Hey, I don't want you to test me today. I want you to test the patient." And I said, "Oh boy, I says, I'm not here to diagnose or treat. Are you trying to trick me or what?" And he says, "No, no, no." He says, "It's okay. This guy's going to die in 3 months anyway, at most. And he's already seen 7 doctors. We're his last hope. So we don't expect much, but it's kind of a Hail Mary." So I said, okay. So I sat down, a room full of doctors, nurses, and the gentleman who was wasting away. He was a professional athlete from Red Bull from Australia. And as I was scanning him using our full scan technology, I turned to him and I said, "Sir, what do you do for work?" And he says, "Well, I'm a professional athlete. I teach people how to barefoot on the water with just my feet." And I was like, "Okay, and probably from here to Thailand, right?" He says, "Absolutely." And he was diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's, and he was all skin and bones. And that's why they said he's only got maybe 3 months left to live. So as I'm sitting there, I said, "Okay, I think I know what his number 2 issue is." And the doc says, "You know what it is?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I know what it is." He said, "What?" He said, "Well, I think it's parasitic. Your client is being eaten from the inside out." Now, I only knew this because I worked with America's Weight Loss Program, the ABC program. When they had problems, they called us in and we would look at people that were developing weird issues as a result of losing too much weight, which can be a problem as well. Again, that's another whole show. But for this case, they said, "Well, parasites are never the issue. What are you talking about?" And this was like, I felt like I landed on Mars and nobody knew what I was talking about. So I said, "Okay." They said, "What's the number 1 reason?" And so as I'm looking through the software guides me and it says, "Sir, were you bitten by a snake around 7 years ago?" He sits back and he says, "Actually, I was. I was bitten by a black mamba almost 7 years ago to the day." And the doctor sitting next to me, she wigs out. She says, "Oh my gosh, this is not anywhere in your paperwork. Why didn't you put this in your paperwork?" It's, "Well, because it happened 7 years ago." And she says, "I'm sorry, I'm out of here. This is, I don't believe in this." And she left. So the doctor says, "Does anybody else want to leave?" And they said, "No." Everybody says, "We want to know, what does this mean? What are you telling us?" To boil it all down, the parasitic load was so high in the body, it was dissolving the adipose tissue so fast that the toxins that he was exposed to, much like a rings of a tree, are being reabsorbed into the body, causing a delayed reaction. And the doctor goes, "Oh my God, are you serious?" And he says, "So what do we do?" And I says, "Well, you can either put him on a natural product for parasites, or you can put him on a drug. Either way, in about 10 days, you'll know if he has Parkinson's." And he left. That same doctor, as I left, thanked me for coming, and he called me back 10 days later. And he said, "Jared, just so you know, you saved that guy's life. He no longer has Parkinson's." 1 year later, he called me back again, and he says, "Just so you know, our patient is still doing fine, and he doesn't have Parkinson's any longer." But just to show you, that's what the scan does. It gets to the root cause for people. And this is something that we do. We can process this in as little as 10 days and have this out. Yeah.
And this can be done for for regular folks, someone that's not
Absolutely,
dying in 10 days. Heather
absolutely.
Haro is, I'm not
Yeah.
feeling very well. Can we scan and see? Or I'm
Yeah,
tired all the time, which
absolutely.
I am tired all the time.
Yeah, we need to get you in.
But just, new moms, old moms, new dads, old dads,
Absolutely.
grandmas, grandpas can come into the pharmacy and have
Absolutely.
this done and
And
have the evaluation.
we have a nice way that they can upload the voice note to us. Now, you might have those critical patients that need more. So the benefit that you have with a full test is it also has entrainment. Now, if you're not familiar with that, that's where we teach the right brain the specific harmonics that it's imbalanced in. And what's interesting about entrainment is humans are the very few species that actually can heal with entrainment. That's where basically it's a harmonics teaching you what the normal cell should be resonating at versus what it is resonating at. And that's what this does. But on a general sense, yes, you want to know, do I need vitamin D? Do I need vitamin E? Do I need more thyroid support or adrenal support? That's what this is designed to do. It guides you to a further test. We also have what's called a symptom survey that is also equally is good to give you an idea, again, of what a person may need. But you can see some of the key points in here. 30-second voice note is all it's needed. Gets to the root symptoms. Now, the resolution on this simple version is a little bit less. We're about 80 to 87% accurate on the full versions. This one drops a little bit to maybe around 75 to 80. So it's still in the upper tier. It just doesn't have the frequency adjustment to it. It's cheaper, and it's much more duplicatable. So you can have people come in every 3 months, 4 months, and they can update their protocol of what they might be taking.
Jared, our attendees are very thrilled with what you're sharing. An attendee says, "I missed what the name of the scanner was. I'm on the website now."
Yeah, it's called the QCS. Yeah, it's called the QCS. Yeah,
okay.
And it's we have other scanning products that we also use. We're Quest dealer as well, and other things. And if for those of you that are interested in, we can show you. We have the ability to show you what may fit into your practice and guide you to what you could use, what you may want to use, and how to work with you. The difference is we are a full medical center as well. So we can collaborate with you. We're not going to take your patient. You still going to be able to sell product to them and whatever you need to do, but we can help consult with them. We're developing some programs where we can cover the whole U.S. In those respects. We have that right now, but it works out pretty well. But did you have another point?
Yeah, we're getting low on time.
Okay.
So
I can go quick.
Okay. Let's
so just real quick, one of the biggest problems that people see in their industry is they want to be unique. So something that we offer here is called the custom complete. And the custom complete is where you can design a product for one person or as little as 36 bottles of product, designed from unique individual products that you can put together ad hoc, however you want. This is the custom complete dashboard where you can build a product on the fly for one individual or 36, 40, 50, 100 bottles. And there's only 2 steps. You find the base ingredients that you want to put in, like we're doing here. It's very simple, selecting the base ingredients. Once you select the base ingredients and have it added in, then the next phase, which I'll skip to here, right here, is now we're just going to optimize the capsule. And that's where we fill the capsule the rest of the way. And the problem, people, we don't put fillers in. So what do you put in? You want to put aloe vera in, you can. And that's what we end up doing is we put we optimize it for the rest of the fillers. Instead of putting fillers in, we put product in. And then you just simply check out. And this is designed where you can do it in front of a client, or you can do it, the practitioner can be doing it behind the counter, building a product for an individual, and it only takes us 10 days to deliver. One final thought that I want to just show on some brief equipment here. One thing that we have had some clinics starting to do is they want to reinvent themselves. Instead of just selling drugs and product, they want to be a service center. So what we do is, as you can see here, this is our theta chamber product that we develop and distribute. And can be installed into one of your centers. And then you can work contracts out with doctors to refer. This is designed for mental health, mental performance. I would say 100%, or I'd say 99% of the people could use this, except for those guys without a brain. That's a joke, but but anyway, this is one of the big items that we sell, as well as you can see some other pictures of it here. But it's designed to support mental health, acuity. It also helps with sleep, but it's designed to put you in what's that theta state, the rest, relaxation, and repair. And that we have many different centers. We also develop in conjunction with KYK high-end hydrogen generators for water. This is something new that you're going to be seeing on TV and things like that, taking out those plastic particulates that are in the water. This is a triple filtration hydrogen rich system that also does just regular purified water, as well as ozone for cleaning. And these are just some of the other products that we develop and sell. So some of these might be able to fit into your practice to help with, and what we generally encourage is then you let doctors, and the doctors send them to you, almost like the hyperbaric. We have companies set up with doctors with our hyperbaric systems, which are, you can put up to 4 people in there. It's not like a coffin, like most of them are. And these are just hyperbaric chambers that they set up. Doctors contract with them. They have specific rates. They send the people in, but the practice benefits off the traffic. And that's really what you want. You want those referral traffic to come in. So we help practices develop that type of centers as well.
And that's incredible. Yeah. That, like I said, we could do a whole summer series just on Alive Innovations. I could listen to you all day. It's fascinating to me. And I think Angela was saying the same thing, that she's super into it too. I love this. Jared, we're going to put all of your resources, as much resources as you want, in our replay email, and a way for folks to get to you. What's the best way if someone wants to hop off this call? I think Angela wants to talk to you right this second.
Yeah, not a problem.
I love it.
This is, here's our contact information. Feel free to reach out to us. And one of the unique things, just so everybody knows, is we only distribute through distribution. So we don't sell to the public. We do have a medical facility that partners with other facilities as well as other practices to help people. I got into this because I didn't want to work. I got into this because every day that I go here, I don't feel like I'm working. This is fun to me. It's fun helping people. We deal with everything from serious disease process to, I'm low on energy or I need to lose some weight. So we help develop unique plans for you. And we also help reinvent practitioners, because one of the things that you'll notice is when you get these products, we actually do what's called a co-branding on our custom complete line, where they can put their own logo on these products and only make one for one customer, or they can do 36, bottles. So it's very good for your inventory management systems.
I absolutely love that. The least amount of inventory,
and you can't get it on Amazon.
Yes. So come to Heather's Pharmacy for this. That's absolutely fantastic. We love it. Jared, we will definitely have you on a podcast or something else. We will continue this education with you. I'm so happy that we have partnered, and that Priscilla is such a force. She's a
go-getter.
I am so grateful and love that.
Yeah, and Priscilla is a great contact. So if your staff need some additional help or something like that, all they need to do is just reach out to Priscilla or our office there, and we're more than happy to help anybody. We're there as a resource. We don't know everything, but I can tell you what, I probably know somebody that knows everything.
We love that. That's what we say here. I don't know everything, but I will help you find
exactly. Yes.
And I'm going to try some products and review them. There's a bunch, and I am so very interested in the voice analysis. That sounds so fantastic.
You guys will. One of the key differences is that not only most practitioners only look at the physical.
Right.
One of the key things that we do in our practice is we look at the emotional, because when we saw cancer patients, 80% of the people that saw us that had cancer had mental emotional trauma that contributed and changed the body chemistry in a way where it made it more susceptible to cancer. And so those are the other things that we deal with. So it's and everyone here, they're business owners, they need to take care of themselves, even if they don't offer it to their clients. We work with business owners, and I personally work with doctors all the time, and professionals, and that's what we do. We help to take care of them so that they can help take care of other people.
I love it. I love it. So, and by the way, Jared, we never go this long. I just didn't want to stop you.
Sorry.
No, you are A-okay. I think
you can edit it up and speed it up if you want.
Is A-okay with that. Before we wrap up today, again, to all of our attendees, thank you so much for hopping on. I see so many of the same names sticking with me through this summer, and I am thrilled and so happy to bring you new folks like Jared and some of our trusted friends to bring you new stuff. I just want to remind everybody that although Lisa's technically still not on vacation, I'm still running wild with summit tickets. She hasn't stopped me yet, or I mean, it's going to happen. So if you have not bought tickets to our Pharmacy Profit Summit, they are still buy one, get one free. $650 for 2 tickets for just an incredible time of learning real strategies, learning real stuff that you can take back, and then getting to have pre-webinars, post-webinars, the whole 9 yards. And I don't think I've ever said this before. Our marketing guy mentioned it to me before we came on, but it's guaranteed. So if you pay that $650 and come to the conference and sit through the whole thing, completely hate it, want to tell me to go fly a kite, that's perfectly fine. We'll give you your money back and $500 because we know that there is a sacrifice to come. You have to find people, you have to buy plane tickets, the whole 9 yards. So go get your tickets. We will send out the replay. If you have any questions for me ever, but before the replay comes out, it usually takes about 24 to 48 hours, email me, Heather@DiversifyRx. If you have my cell phone number, text me. That's always the fastest way. And everybody have an awesome Wednesday. And I'm just going to keep having earthquakes here.
Thank you. On behalf of all of us here at Alive Innovations, we appreciate you guys taking the time.
Of course. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.